Hi, welcome to Rewind Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Today we're talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14, episode number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a lot. There was a lot going on this episode.
Yeah.
We start out with Danielle and her family, and they're going for, I thought it was a family photo shoot, but then we find out it's for Valentina, who is 6 years old, and she was just signed to a talent agency, and she needs new headshots. So, I mean,
Cute.
She is cute, and it's no surprise because, you know, she's got a personality. She definitely has a personality, and she's like her mother, so that's where she gets it from.
Right.
And then Danielle's talking about going to New York Fashion Week. I think from listening to her, it sounds like she was invited with bougie kids to go to New York Fashion Week, like her line.
That's what it sounded like.
Which that's impressive. That's impressive.
For sure.
And she tells us a little bit about Nate having brain surgery 6 years ago, and she wants to have a party celebrating that, you know, he's still alive, that it was a very serious thing, and had they not caught it, he wouldn't be here.
It sounded like similar to what Victoria Wakili went through, right?
Oh, you know what? I didn't really follow hers. She did have an issue. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was something with her brain.
A brain tumor. Did he have a brain tumor? Is that what she said?
I think she said cyst.
Cyst.
I mean,
okay.
What's the difference though? A cyst, a tumor,
well,
brain?
I mean, because a tumor can be cancerous. Doesn't have to be, but it can be.
But can't a cyst be cancerous?
Oh, I don't know. Can it?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it was a brain situation, and he's, you know, doing good, which is good. And then she explains the whole thing about not talking to her dad, which you already told me about. How did you know that?
There was a clip on
clip.
Instagram last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So somebody leaked that.
Interesting. Yeah. So I guess because of the way her father handled the gift that, you know, she gave to the brother, she just, you know, I don't know. I don't think she's handling this right, but, you know, it's her life.
I think I see her point, but I think just her saying to her father, like, I would like a little more support. I think that would have sufficed. Cutting him off. But you know what? She's not talking to him, but he's still seeing Nate and the kids.
She said also, which I thought was interesting, and I don't know if you caught that. She said she's not talking to him, but he is talking to her.
Yeah,
so how does that work?
I have no idea how that works.
I don't know how that works.
That sounds like asinine to me.
Right. And then Dolores is getting back into real estate. I didn't know that she did real estate. I don't think I knew that.
Well, remember in one of the first seasons that Frank was on, they flipped a house together. So I guess she found the house.
Yes.
She probably, you know, facilitated the purchase, I guess, as the realtor, and then he did the construction.
Yeah, so I guess she has to get her like credits in order so she can make sure or maybe change it back to active status or real estate license.
Right.
Yes. So good for her.
Yeah. She's got an eye for it. So
yeah.
But I guess Pauly's going to be her new partner and not Frank Sr.
Yes. And she lets us know that she moved in with Paul a year and a half ago. But she still wants her independence. And I was glad to hear that she still has that other place that I thought her kids were living in, her condo that she bought.
Right. Well, she had the condo and then the house.
I thought she sold the house. I don't know though. I don't know.
Because when she moved into that condo, Frank Sr. moved back in with the kids, remember?
Yeah. But then
and now Haley and Brittany are building a house.
Yeah.
Who's in the house? I thought she was renting the condo.
Maybe she was renting the condo.
I think she was renting the condo. So maybe she got rid of the condo. Kids maybe are still in the house.
That could be.
And maybe Frank. Oh no, because Frank was living with David for a little while.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was again.
And I can barely keep up with one house. How do these people have all that? You know, all this real estate. God bless them.
Do you think David's going to be at their wedding? I think so.
Oh, I bet you he'll be at Frank and Brittany's wedding for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I would really like to see their wedding. I don't think they'll do that though, but I would love to see their wedding.
I would like to see their wedding too, quite honest. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think we're going to see the engagement. I guess we're not going to see the engagement party because they've literally just had it a couple of weeks ago and filming had stopped. So,
No, I think
yeah,
that was the bridal shower.
that's right. I'm sorry.
That
You're
was the
right.
bridal
The
shower
bridal
because
shower. So maybe we will see an engagement party.
maybe we will. Maybe we will. But if the bridal shower was a few weeks ago, that means the wedding is right around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll have to just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Then Pauly says that he didn't know Italian men got so offended. He was blaming it on the Italian thing.
I mean, what are you new here, Pauly?
Exactly.
You haven't hung out with these guys long enough?
I know. And then Teresa's going to event for Louie's father for being sober for 8 years.
God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him is right.
Yeah,
And
that's impressive.
It is, and how she feels so close to him and his family. And then she's talking about the moving truck is coming and Gabriella is going to be leaving. And, listen, I get it. I'm fortunate that my kids don't leave, but I would be crushed too. I would be crushed.
Be a mess.
Yeah. So
did you happen to see the T-shirt that Louie was wearing?
Oh, about the pizza.
You old troll.
Yes.
What Melania said to Joe Giudice when she was a little girl?
Yep.
They're pushing their apparel.
Yes.
Heavily.
Yes, they are.
And poor Joe Giudice. See, he's the one that was called an old troll. That's the guy who should be monetizing on this, not Louie.
I know. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares one bit.
But you know what? She probably is taking care of him financially, Joe Giudice. I would imagine she's.
Why?
If she can, if she has the means to. I mean, listen, she's the reason she can blame anybody she wants. She's the reason they got into that mess. She's the one that was on national television paying $100,000 cash for furniture. That's why the feds started paying attention to him. And now that poor bastard can't come back into the country. She's got to feel some guilt over that, although she probably doesn't.
No, I don't think so. She doesn't own anything.
No, she doesn't. She
doesn't own anything.
But I would hope she would take care of him somehow.
I think he can take care of himself. I mean, he was in Italy. Now he's in the Bahamas. I mean, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he could start his own show wherever he's at. Like, the people would follow him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm not worried about Joe.
No, me neither. He'll be all
right. Then they're celebrating Antonio's 18th birthday, and she wants to have a brunch so that she could go out with her friends at night. And it's Melissa's whole family is there. All the cousins, her mother, her sisters, aunts, everybody's there. And they're talking about how Joe's going to officiate Cousin Nick's wedding, and Cousin Nick is sitting right there. And, Melissa and Joe both start crying because, you're just so emotional. Melissa's emotional because Antonio's leaving. Joe is emotional about that, but then he's also emotional about, officiating Nick's, wedding.
Yeah, well, because the cousin said, Joe was so embracing, right? When he came out.
He said,
such a nice thing.
Yes, that's what he said. He said, really, changed my life. Turned my life into 180, how much he accepted me coming out, which is awesome. But it's sad also that that's something that, isn't just accepted. But it isn't. It isn't,
It's still, which is crazy, but still.
Yeah. And what else? So then Gia moved home after college, and she is trying to go to law school. I guess she has to take the LSATs, and she's not sure.
And she didn't like her score, so she's taking them again.
I don't know. Is it she didn't like her score, or her score wasn't good enough?
Well, it's clearly that her score wasn't good enough. But she's like her mother, so she's going to say that she just wants to her score. This is all very clear to the American public, just not Teresa and Gia. And probably Louie. So the rest of us, we know exactly what's going on.
I think that's true.
Because you have to get a specific score or above to get into any schools.
I would think so. Yes. Yes, right. I would think so. But now she's not sure what kind of law she wants to do. Initially, she wanted to do immigration law, but now she's not sure, which is fine. I mean, she's young. She can, make that decision.
Yeah. And listen, all you got to do is get your law degree, and then you start working and figure out where you want it. You don't have to know what kind of law you want to do to go to law school.
Right.
You just go to law school.
Right.
And then you
Exactly.
get your law degree, and then you focus on which area you want to focus on.
Exactly. And then Danielle and Jen Aiden go over to Teresa's house, and they're having the sculpt done on the glutes for a booty pop.
Can we look into this?
I remember, didn't Kim Zolciak do that in her house?
While she was eating pizza, right?
Right. And she did it on her abdomen, right?
Yeah.
Not on her butt.
I thought she was laying on her stomach.
Well, maybe
and
she
was
did.
eating pizza.
Maybe
she was doing
did
something on her stomach, eating pizza.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean,
I just want to look into it.
Does it really work, though? Do you think it really works?
I feel like it's worth looking into.
Okay, we could definitely look into it. I'm in for that. But I was also a little concerned when Jed and Aiden said she needs to take a laughing gas that it hurts that much.
It did look like it hurt because I think that Teresa probably has a high tolerance of pain.
Yeah.
And she looked very uncomfortable.
I will tell you, I did buy this Groupon once. Now, this was like pre-COVID, and it was for some kind of like body contouring thing. And I went to this place in like Middletown area. It was like supposedly a med spa, but it was kind of like, it was very shady. Let's just put it that way. It was very shady.
Understood.
And they were trying like to sell, they're like, what you bought isn't good enough. You have to, trying to upsell you. And I was like, you know me, you're not upselling this. You're not upselling me anything. I was like, nope, no. just give me what I bought. Just give me what I paid for. So I went back, I think like 3 times for what I had paid for. And they hooked up these like machines too. I wanted to do like my arm area here and my stomach. And they had all these things on, and they pulsated, and they were like vibrating. And then she would turn them up or turn them down.
Did it hurt?
No, it did hurt. It did hurt. But then
it has to be something similar to what they did.
That's what I think it is. I think it is something similar to that. But I think if you, with me, when she was doing it, I just would like, okay, yeah, it hurts. But then I'd be like, all right, no, just keep going. Like you just kind of have to ease into it instead of like just,
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to dial it up instead of starting high because it's too jarring.
Right.
But honestly, it didn't do anything. Probably because, it's like snake oil, I think. But I don't know. Like I see those commercials where they talk about that. Where, you lose that big gut. How does that really happen? Does that really help with the machine? All right, we're going to look into it.
We're going to look into it. Because if it's like 1,000 sit-ups, I'm not doing 1,000 sit-ups. So I'll try it on my ass and my stomach. I'll try it.
Well, you don't do sit-ups for your ass. So what would that be? I guess squats? The equivalent to squats? Yeah.
Squats, yeah.
All right. We're going to look into this.
We are definitely looking into this. We're going to report back on Saturday.
Okay. All right. So then Margaret, Melissa, and Rachel are playing pickleball.
Oh, yeah, that was cute.
It was cute. And we find out that Rachel has RA, which I didn't even know it existed in children. I did not know it was a thing.
I had it.
You did?
I had it. Yeah, I had it in my knees. I was 5 years old. I was in kindergarten, and we were at my Aunt Linda and Uncle Frank's in Toms River, and I was walking on the sidewalk, and I just fell, and I couldn't get back up. And you know what I remember? A needle like that big, then putting it right into my knee to draw out the fluid. But I'll tell you what, I had that episode, and it lasted a couple of months, and then it went away, and it's bothered me maybe 3 times as an adult. Once was when I had bronchitis really bad. Once was when I had the flu. So it was like when my body was very infected with an infection, it came back out. But I'm very fortunate, obviously, but she seems to really be having a hard time with it.
You are very fortunate because it's an autoimmune disorder. Yeah. And like once you have it, you could certainly get it again. So you should definitely, keep an eye on it because you definitely want to be in front of that kind of pain because, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised to hear that. And I think it looked like Margaret was surprised too. Because when she was complaining about her shoulder, and I felt like Margaret was going to be like, what do you mean? Like, you're young. But
she's talked about arthritis. Well, maybe I'm thinking of her Instagram because she's done fundraisers. She's hosted fundraisers for it. Actually, I think the one was at the place in Spring Lake at the It's called the Shore Club now, but it used to be Mike
Used to be Mike
Doolin's.
Doolin's. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know. We got to pay attention to that and go to the next one of those.
Yes, I would like to do that. I would like to do
Mm-hmm.
that. So then Melissa's talking about how her mom fell holding baby Anthony and she broke her arm. And they're all going down the shore for the party, for Nate's party, because that's where she's having it, down the shore. So Melissa's like, well, it's Joe's birthday. Like, maybe I'll do Joe's birthday down the shore too. Then they discuss the whole who's staying with who. Melissa has got Margaret staying with her.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel has Jen Fessler and Danielle Cabral staying with her. Jackie was not invited. And I don't blame Danielle. I don't blame Danielle.
I don't blame Danielle, but I was surprised at this point in the show that Melissa didn't invite Jackie and Evan down for Joe's party, because Jackie and Evan always stay at Melissa's. So why couldn't they just come down, stay at the house, and not go to Nate's party, but be there for Joe's? But you know what? Maybe next week we'll see they do come the next day.
Maybe. And also, Jackie's just a friend of.
Yes. I think Jen Fessler is still just a friend of also. I don't think she's a full house time.
I think. Does she have a tagline?
I don't think she has a tag. I don't think
she doesn't have a tagline. Okay, then she's not a housewife.
I think she's working very hard, as we see at the end of this episode, to get one.
Yes, she is.
I don't think she has one yet.
Okay. All right. Well, that would explain a lot then. That would explain a lot. So Danielle tells Teresa and Jen that she's staying at Rachel's house, and Teresa says, you know, I'm not asking anyone to pick a side. I did also think it was interesting that they were doing that booty sculpting thing in the kitchen.
I thought the same thing.
I mean, you've got this big, huge house and you have to put your ass out in the kitchen? Seriously?
If you'll notice, though, well, I guess they film. So I guess Teresa and Louie film in their room, or a room that's supposed to look like their bedroom. But that bedroom looks a little small for that big, giant house for that to be the master bedroom. So I think they have a room that they film in and just the kitchen. But I guess most of them really just film in their kitchens.
I mean, I don't know. It was, first of all, it was summertime. You could have done it outside. You could have been outside, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Thought that was weird.
Very weird.
What's next? So then Rachel tells Melissa and Margaret that she's talking about him selling pot at 17 years old. So when she came in, when Lisa and Jen Aiden came in and said, you're the biggest drug dealer in Patterson. Oh, did she say Bergen County? Yeah, probably.
I think she said both at different times.
Yeah. Rachel clears up that it was pot when he was 17 years old. He was a kid. It's not like this guy was dealing cocaine or meth or heroin. It was pot when he was a kid.
Right.
I mean, there's a big difference there.
Clear difference. And I don't think if you're selling pot, you're the biggest drug dealer in the county.
I don't either. Especially considering we all know that Jen Aiden partakes in it on the regular. I mean, it's legal now.
As we see in this episode when Jen Fessler says, give me your read pen. Yes,
exactly.
Yep.
I mean, it's different because it is legal, but still, like, why are you doing this?
It was just pot and he was 17 years old, for crying out loud.
Right. Exactly. So they get to the house. Danielle shows up at Rachel's house and Jen, they're there. And
I loved when Nate dropped whatever he dropped and Danielle's like, the Cabrals are here.
Yeah.
That's something that would happen to us, Something would break. I'd be like, well, winners are here.
There you go. Danielle's worried about stuff coming up at the party, especially with John Fuda. And, John's like, listen, if you're going to come at me, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going to start anything. But if you're going to come at me, I'm going to defend myself. And she's like, yeah.
As he should.
Right. Absolutely. As he should. And I thought it was nice that, one, that Rachel and Danielle are getting along, because last year they were not. Rachel went out and got the special rum that they like. She's invited her to stay at her house. Like, she's really, putting the olive branch out there. Right.
Yeah.
So then they're in the car ride over there. I don't think anything happened on the car ride, right? Nothing. excited.
No, Dolores was, kissing Teresa's ass like, you got a big family now, Teresa. That's what you always wanted. Well, she had that with Joe Giudice's family too. But
She
you
did.
deserve it. You
Yeah.
deserve it.
Mm.
It's like, all right, Dolores, you can crawl out of her ass for a little bit. Like, take a break. Take a break.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Then they're getting ready to leave, and Rachel's like, "Oh, we got to get a roadie." Danielle never heard of a roadie. I was
You're
like,
from Staten Island. How do you not know what a roadie is?
"That's what I'm thinking." Like, how can you not know
Come
what a roadie
on.
is?
I'm sure
Right?
you did. I'm sure you went into Manhattan when you were younger, going to clubs. You didn't, take a little flask with you or those little bottles of wine.
I mean, come on. It's like I can't. When she said that, what's a roadie? I never heard of a roadie. I'm like,
And yeah, like you never tailgated at a concert. Come
ugh.
on.
That kind of blew me away, to be quite honest with you.
Me too. Me too.
So the party's at the waterfront in Forked River. By the way, that
Oh,
place
so
looks
that's what I wanted to ask you that because at first I thought that they were at Waypoint in Brielle.
no waterfront and Forked River.
Okay. Well, we got to go there. That place looks.
We do have to go there. I think we should.
Yeah.
We should plan it. We should plan a Sunday brunch there. Would be nice.
Yeah, I wonder if that's where my niece Jackie's communion party was, but it was called something else. I think it was.
It could have been. Was it in Forked River on the water?
Yeah, all the way down, all the way down. You get off the parkway, you go all the way down. You cross over Route 9. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that place looked real nice.
Yes, we should. We should. You know what would be nice if we could get someone with a boat to take us there because it's right on the water. We got to find someone with a boat.
We need a friend with a boat. Friends with boats.
Please take us. Please. We would like to go to the waterfront.
We just like to go drink and have fun.
Yeah. We'll buy your drinks.
We'll buy your drinks. I was just going to say that.
We'll buy your drinks. And we're a good time. You know what? We're a damn good time.
Fun. So fun. Not when I talk about Jersey, I get very serious. But by the way, Jen Fessler. Lori just texted me. I'm leaving now. I never told her I didn't need it. What a rigmarole. Jen Fessler looks like a bobblehead. She needs to stop with the Ozempic. She looks like a bobblehead.
Well, it's not just the Ozempic. She's had so much work done. She's admitted to all of it. Like she's had everything done.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. That's what I mean. She's reaching to be a full timer.
Yeah, she definitely is. She definitely is. I thought it was interesting that Danielle had the gospel choir from Washington, D.C. come and sing.
That was awesome.
It was awesome is right. Like, how do you make that happen?
I know. I love Danielle and Rachel on good terms.
I do too.
I said it. I think, honestly, they need to get rid of everybody else, keep Rachel and Danielle, maybe Melissa, just because I really like Melissa, but add Brittany, Frank Sr.'s soon-to-be wife, and a couple more youngies, and let's see how that plays out. Because it's just too much. It's just too much.
It is too much. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think Margaret, and I've been saying this for many seasons, I don't think Margaret brings that much to the table.
I know you have been saying that for a long time.
And it's not like I dislike her.
I was a big Margaret fan, but you're right.
I don't know. We'll have to see how this season plays out. I'm very curious about this. So then we see that Teresa says to Jen Fessler, I want to talk to you. And Jen Fessler says to Jen Aiden, do you have the pot? She says, well, I have the pot pen. So Teresa says, can we talk? And she said, yeah, can I have the pot pen? Like, can I take it with me? She couldn't even talk to her without it, which I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I might have to grab a cigarette for that kind of.
Would that be enough? Would a cigarette be enough?
Well, I'd need a cigarette and a glass of wine.
Okay. Well, it's, you know what? The funny thing is, so on camera, you can say, can I have the pot pen? But you couldn't say, can I have a cigarette, right? Because
you're right.
Right?
No, you're absolutely right.
Now, how crazy is that?
One time on a Real Housewives of New York, when they were on a trip, they were they were on a trip. They were at a dinner. It got very heated. I think it was the time it got heated between Dorinda and Luann when Dorinda was drunk and she was coming at Luann. But I remember Carol saying to Dorinda, "Do you have cigarettes? I need a cigarette." And one that I think it was the same trip, the same night when they got back to the house, they showed Dorinda sitting there with a pack of cigarettes in front of her.
Really?
But that was the only time on any Housewives show I've ever seen any reference to a cigarette.
Right. It's interesting, right? I think it's interesting. So then Rachel sees this going on and her face is like, WTF, like what is going on? Like you're staying at my house.
Yep.
And Teresa says, I want to ask you something. My husband met with Frank and Frank said that we all met at Margaret's house before New York. Is that true? Yes, she says. Yes, it's true. I still don't understand why they don't call it the reunion. Why do they always call it New York?
It's so stupid.
It is stupid. Then Teresa said, well, there was a couple people that heard you say you didn't execute the plan correctly. She said, no, that's not true. What she was saying was they didn't use the things that they had. Like Margaret had the recording, they had the manila envelopes, but why didn't they use that? And we said that ourselves when the episode was over. Yep. Why didn't we get to see that information? And we concluded because it was an ongoing police investigation and it wasn't allowed to be shown. That's what we decided.
I can't imagine that Margaret would be allowed to play a recording that could be involved in a criminal action.
Right.
But whatever John Fuda, I think John Fuda did have stuff in that envelope, but it never got to the point where, you know what I'm like he said, like, I have proof, it's right here. Like it never got to the point where he had to pull it out.
I think it didn't get, like I said, I thought back then and I still think now it didn't get pulled out because it is a criminal investigation and you don't want to really put that out on, on camera.
So you think what John Fuda had in the envelope
I think they both had stuff, not just the recording. I think they both have stuff. And that's kind of what I heard, like, things are going to come to light. Like we're going to find out exactly, we're going to see the true colors of Teresa and Louie. And I think it's going to be that they had this proof this whole time, and what actually happens with it. I just think it's very messy for Jen Fessler to jump on that. I mean, that is messy.
Now we know why they call her Messy Fessler. I mean, not only messy, she's just an asshole. She's just a complete asshole. But I will say this: she was at Margaret's for the premiere party. And an interview with Melissa, somebody asked, like, where are Jen Fessler and Margaret now? And she was like, they're fine. Jen Fessler and Margaret are still very close friends. So Margaret got over it, but I don't think Rachel got over it because when she and John were on, I think 2 T's in a Pod, she said, I guess they asked her who surprised you the most this season, and she said Jen Fessler. So I don't think they're good.
Well, because they're coming for her husband. They were trying to get at Margaret, but they're coming for Rachel's husband. Like, that's just how screwed up it is. I mean, Rachel had nothing to do with this.
The funny thing is Teresa for years has said that she's been Joe and Melissa's storyline, right? It's so the opposite. Like rewatching all of those seasons leading up to this premiere, you can see it. They are her storyline. She wouldn't leave them the fuck alone. And as soon as she was like this with Margaret, as soon as Margaret said to her, Louie needs to get in front of the video. The video is damaging. He needs to get in front of it. That was it. The gloves were off. And now she's coming hard for Margaret. And like you said, they tried. They clearly weren't successful, and now they're going after John Fuda. But here's the thing about storylines, and I said this, I commented on a post today. They're on a show together. Of course they're each other's storylines. Of course.
Right.
I mean, they're all equally sharing things about their kids, except for Margaret because her son doesn't want anything to do with it. And he's an adult, and he has that right. She doesn't have little kids. Teresa's shown her kids. Melissa's shown her kids. Danielle, Rachel, Dolores, they're all showing their kids. So them talking about each other and making each other their storylines. You're on a show together. Of course, that's what you're going to do. But what you shouldn't do is investigate people and dig up people's pasts, like, John Fuda's ex, who clearly isn't probably, I mean, God bless her. And I wish her nothing but the best, but she's not going to have anything nice to say about him, obviously.
No,
He has
he's
sole
no.
custody of her son.
Right.
But just the fact that Louie and Teresa found her, it's disgusting.
And Rachel adopted him. I mean, Rachel officially adopted him.
And here's the other thing. That poor girl was in a halfway house. That poor girl was on her way to getting herself better.
Right.
And these two scumbags seek her out and probably promised her money and promised her this and that. And she fell for it. And what did it do? It landed her back in jail.
Is that what landed her back in jail, you think?
Yeah. Yeah. She wasn't supposed to be in communication. I didn't know how it worked. I was listening to, there's a girl on TikTok and she was in jail. Now she's out and now she covers Bravo stuff like us. And she said, when you're in a halfway house, you can't communicate. Like people, places, things, you have to change it all. And she got caught. And now that poor girl's back in jail. And those two are still, lying to the world with their antics. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is. It's because, honestly, John Fuda and Rachel had nothing to do with this fight. Like, they had nothing to do with it. They didn't start talking about Teresa or they didn't do any of that. So why did they start coming for them? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm still really surprised at Frank Catania that he even told Louie that. But I'm waiting to see what he says because we haven't seen him yet this season.
Right.
So I'm waiting to see what he says about it. Because they're all still good. Margaret, the Gorgas, they were all at his opening of his dispensary. So they're good.
Right.
So I'm just curious to see what his response is to the whole thing.
No, I am as well. The other thing was that I'm very shocked with this whole Jackie situation. So Melissa was, did you see her on Watch What Happens Live?
Yes.
She was with Megan McCann.
Yes. Who requested to be on there with her.
She did. Megan requested to be. Yeah. I like Megan McCann.
Me too.
The whole Jackie thing flipping, like, it doesn't make sense. And the only, Melissa's like, the only thing I could think of is like, she doesn't want to be part-time anymore. She wants to be full-time and she thinks that this is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
She's like, we didn't have a fight or anything. There was nothing that happened that all of a sudden.
No, I mean, she got into something with Margaret and blew it. And Melissa said, like, she made it something bigger than it had to be. And then she turned on Melissa. And that's exactly what this is about. And Fessler's doing the same thing. And who are BFFs now? Jackie, Jackie, the two J's.
Yeah, the two Jersey Jays. And honestly, I have a hard time listening to them because their voices are annoying. And they just talk nonsense. They really talk nonsense.
I did listen to one when Jen Fessler was saying how Ozempic landed her in the hospital, but she doesn't care and she's going to still keep taking it.
Right.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, like, power to you.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. But Joe and Eric are yelling to each other from Joe's room to the basement where Eric is about the NBA playoffs.
Well, I hear a lot of commotion going on upstairs too. So maybe that's what that's about. I didn't know what it was about.
Like, just go downstairs and watch the game with your father. Like, why you gotta yell to each other? That's what goes on all night in my house. Everybody yelling at each other, not at each other, yelling to each other. Different locations in our home.
And it's your house is a mansion, so I see why you couldn't just get up and walk.
I mean, really, we should have an intercom.
Exactly.
So stupid. God. Fucking people, I swear. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this plays out. But in the beginning when Louie and Teresa were talking in their room and he was wearing a stupid t-shirt.
Yeah.
She said, everybody's gonna see everybody's gonna see the truth about Margaret. She fucking says it every year. She says it every season that everybody's gonna see the truth about somebody. And nothing ever comes out.
And, honestly, I feel like she still has egg on her face from when she told Danielle Staub to pull her hair.
Absolutely.
Like, you still have that. Like, seriously. Like, what leg do you have to stand on?
Exactly. And did you see where Andy said to Melissa, how does it feel sitting here after what Teresa said? And she was like,
I
and I
love
was
that
listening.
green dress.
Yeah, she looked great.
She really did. She really did.
Yeah. I personally thought that Andy was the nicest he's ever been to Melissa because I don't think he's very nice to her. Previously, he hasn't been when she's been on Watch What Happens Live, like putting her in the second seat and letting the girl from Saturday Night Live sit closer to him. Like he's done some shady shit to Melissa in the past. I thought personally that this was the nicest he's ever been to her. So
It's
that
funny
leads me to believe that Teresa's
is
gone.
out. Well, I watched it specifically to see how he was going to treat her, to be quite honest with you, because I agree that last few times he's been kind of shady to her.
Yep.
But, I mean, when was the last time we saw Teresa on? So we got to, I just think he plays both sides. I think if Teresa comes on, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing.
The last time Teresa was on, Louie was sitting next to her. Now, do you ever remember Melissa and Joe being on the show together?
Yes, they have.
Like maybe once or twice. But typically it's just Melissa.
It's typically just Melissa, but they have been on the show together.
I was just very surprised to see Louie sitting there. But that was probably two seasons ago. Maybe it was last season.
I don't know. It's all a blur to me now, to be quite honest with you.
One season to the next. In a pod, Teddy Mellencamp said, "How big does Melissa's dick feel that she's on the show?" After he said what she said at the reunion, I thought that was hysterical. But you know what's funny? When he asked Melissa that question, like, "How good does it feel?" And she said, "What is she trying? She's trying to do your job. She's trying to do your job, making demands." And he said, "Well, to be honest with you, she never made any demands."
Yeah, I did hear him say that.
Bullshit. Nobody thinks she called Andy Cohen and said, "I'm not coming back," if she comes back.
I don't think she did. Listen, at this point, I don't think he's going to lie about that. I think he would have just said nothing. Like, I mean, everything I've read, he's been cleared from all those accusations. Like by NBC, Universal, Bravo people. Like first I read that they were trying to, plan his exit. And then the most recent things I've read is that he's been cleared of everything. So I mean
what was the accusation? He was trying to get them to do drugs. I think that Andy likes to party, and I'm sure there's clearly there's weed. He looks high every time he's on Watch What Happens Live, but whatever, do you? I'm sure he likes to party, and when certain housewives are around, they party with him. I don't think that Andy is pushing anybody to do anything. Personally, I don't know him.
No, I don't think he's pushing anybody to do anything either. I don't think that that's his thing. But as their boss, he really shouldn't even be doing it with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's entertainment, but still.
Hold on. I'm letting Louie know.
Okay.
Sorry. I know you probably see my fingers on the screen.
Nope, I just see black. I don't even see you. Oh, now I see you. Now you're back.
She's like, "I'm turning on to Laura Hurst. I'll be right over." I'm like, no, I'm good. Well, I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm looking forward to Joe's party. I mean, Danielle's party was beautiful, though. We definitely have to check that place out. But I love a Gorga party. How cute was it when her mother was like, "Would you put my hair in a ponytail?"
It was cute.
Like, "Oh, not too low." She was like, all right. Don't start making demands.
Did you see they had, I don't know which one of her sisters had on, I think it was on TikTok, all the Joes. It was just today. I'm little Joey. Joey, I don't know. There was like 5 Joeys, and then he's like, "I'm just Scott." Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. And it must have been Mother's Day, right? I think they were at Lisa's house for Mother's Day. Yeah, that was really cute.
I was laughing. I actually watched it 2 times. I was like, "Oh my God, that's so funny." Like, how many Joeys can you have?
I know. We could do that in Eric's family.
Yep.
Right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Joeys.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah. So funny. That was really cute, though.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Bye. Good night.